To Give Me the Mic Live. I am your host, Brandy, and I'm so excited to introduce to you guys our newest segment, Beauty in Becoming, where we motivate, inspire, and cultivate beauty professionals to reach their highest potential. Tonight's segment is all about birthing of a stylist, from perseverance to growth to journey, the true part of their journey that led them to becoming who they are. Tonight, we have a special guest joining us, but before we go, join that guest, I would like for us to go to, before we join the guest, I would like to send us to a commercial break and leave you with this quote. Be patient with yourself. Becoming takes time, but purpose makes it worth the journey.
Thank you so much for inviting me out, girl. I've been so stressed.
Girl, you are so welcome. But listen, who did your hair?
Oh, all dolled up.
What is that?
All Dolled Up is a series of stores and salons all throughout South Florida. I get my hair silked out every month. I can do that because I'm part of the Texture Club.
Girl, well, I need to get to All Dolled Up and sign up for this texture club. You look amazing.
And cheers to that. A beautiful journey. I've always dreamed of an exciting, passion-filled career in the beauty industry. When enrolled in Cosmo School, it was amazing. After all, beauty was my thing, but I knew it was just the beginning. Next, I needed to find a salon home that was going to help me take it up a notch. aducareer.com showed me the way. Teamwork, branding development, coaching, product knowledge, and more. The apprentice training program changed my life. Find out more about the amazing possibilities.
Welcome back to Give Me the Mic Live, the newest segment. Welcome back to Beauty in Becoming, the newest segment of Give Me the Mic Live. I'm honored to introduce our special guest. She brings years of experience into the hair industry, a licensed cosmetologist. She's also an All Dolled Up Salons alumni. Please help me welcome Shem Chambers, also known as Shem Rock Hair, to our platform. Well,
Hi,
hey, Shem, how are you? Welcome to
I'm great.
forum. I'm so glad you joined us. We'll start off by you just giving us an introduction into who you are and share part of your story that led you to becoming the stylist that you are today.
I am Shem Chambers. I practice out of a suite here in Tamarack, Florida. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, has been licensed since about 2007. Um, I started my journey a very long time ago. It started with me helping my cousin in a salon, assisting her. I was an assistant. Then I then became a hairstylist. My first um job or position as a hairstylist was with All Dolled Up Salons.
Yay.
Yay. With Miss Faye Bailey, my inspiration.
Yeah.
Um, and from there, I went on to owning my own salon after a few years of bouncing, going back and forth through different salons. Salon owners tend to do that sometimes. But after that, I then opened my own salon. Then eventually I downsized after COVID and went into a suite. And I've been there for about 5 years.
Okay. So going into it, at what point uh at that point in your life did you say I want to do hair? Was there someone around you that inspired that journey? Were you just kind of tussling with careers and trying to identify where you wanted to be? What inspired that thought for you to become a hairstylist?
It started when I was young. I was actually in school at the time when I decided to be a hairstylist. I was in high school. I always wanted to be one. I always found myself in a salon assisting many other hairstylists.
Mhm.
And I know that this one particular time, my cousin was actually doing hair, and she told me to go get money out of her bag. And I saw all this money, and I just love the industry. I love the whole camaraderie that comes with it, just being in the salon when I was younger. And when I saw that bag of money, I was like, oh, yes, I definitely have to become a hairstylist.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then later on, I never became a hairstylist. I went on to work, I was working at the bank. And then from the bank, I was just getting so overwhelmed, so exhausted from how the banks were changing. They weren't paying me enough. So then decided to, you know what, I'm gonna step out. And I also wouldn't pass my test. It took me like 2 or 3 times to pass my test by like 1 point. And this particular time I took my test and I passed, and that was it. I just knew that I was done. I was done with banking, and that's when I was like, yeah, I'm do this.
Okay, so you just answered. I was going to ask you, what did perseverance look like for you during that time frame? What were some challenges that you faced going into it? I know that while beauty school can be fun, it's always the testing part of it. The testing part is what challenge a lot of hairstylists develop a challenge at, just passing that state boards. And so, even aside from that, what was some of the things that you had to overcome to before you realized, no, that I'm staying in this. This is the career that I want. What were some of those challenges you faced early on in your career?
Well, I had a daughter at 20. So that was probably one of my biggest challenges. And it kind of delayed me because that's when I knew that I had to work, to provide for me and my daughter at the time. And I needed health insurance and stuff like that. And I didn't know that those were some of the things you can do, as a hairstylist. But I then, got a job. And I also faced Hurricane Wilma during that time.
Mhm.
And it was really hard, but I was able to make it because I studied. I had a friend named Cornisha. She's also a alumni of ADU. She took her time out to help me with the test. Um, and those were pretty much it. Some of the struggles that I had to go through, just being a single mom and
Mhm.
just trusting that I could do this, having the confidence to say, you know what, I could pass this test, I could go ahead, I could start. And then, some of the scares of becoming a hairstylist, that you're not going to get a paycheck every 2 weeks or every week or so. That's something that's, solid and consistent. So those were some of the challenges of becoming a hairstylist.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we all understand that we're in a time where social media makes that process seem so much easier than it actually is. It's a journey to becoming anything successful in life, and I totally agree with you. Like, there's a struggle in the time you're growing, that gap in between getting paychecks, learning how to manage that money. So I can only imagine that those were some of the challenges that you faced early on, and that that's a part of the journey. That's a part of the struggle of just trusting the path that you're on, trusting your purpose, the purpose that God planted in you. But so, what did it mean to you to operate once you got connected with who you were becoming as a stylist and understanding your clients, and how did you find your purpose in connecting with those clients? What was that part of your journey like?
The purpose of connecting with my clients, I just I would say I love the intimacy.
Mhm.
I love the intimacy and I love the conversations. I love the fact that we can build each other, doing during our sessions. And I just love people. I just love people.
Right. Absolutely. Wow. And during that process, I mean, internally as a stylist, what were you telling yourself? What were you speaking to yourself to, I mean, through connecting with your clients, facing challenges, growing? What are some of the things that we say or you say during the process to keep you going? Though, during that process, like,
Um,
if I'm asking the question clear.
I would say family,
Yeah.
family, my family, and just the becoming a family with the customers, the family with who I work with. It's just all comes together.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, in the industry right now, I mean, just thinking about what you see on social media, what paving the way. If you had an opportunity, what do you feel that what would you like to leave? What would you like to leave for people who are coming up in the industry? What are some of the things you would like to do or say or leave for them to understand?
For the upcoming, I would say focus on your customers. Be be yourself. Be kind, and don't. Uh, I guess I would say don't compare yourself with others. Try to stay in your own lane. Try to focus on your strengths. That's what I would say. Focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses, because sometimes as hairstylists we want to do everything and we want to be a part of everything, and sometimes we have to take a moment and grow in certain areas and just become an expertise in maybe a certain area instead of trying to do everything at one time. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say
Yeah, that
to
definitely
pass on.
speaks. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. That definitely speaks to, like I mentioned before, some things that we see a lot on social media. Comparing yourself to who you see and what you see, and it feels like you're so further away from where you should be. But part of growing, that's a part of the journey. You just becoming who you are as a stylist and slowly building yourself. So I totally agree with comparison is definitely something that we have to focus on not doing as a part of that process of growing as an individual stylist. And yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Absolutely. So is there any other things that you would like to share about a part of that journey, a part of that process, or is there something that you feel that we should speak to our audience while we have this space, and in terms of just growing in that space and that in the industry? We know that mentorship is something that we struggle with in the beauty industry. There's a lot of just like individualism, and the younger stylists, as they're coming up, they're not feeling the need to seek veteran stylists like yourself to understand what that path is like and to pave the way and to help them gain that redirection of how to truly develop. I mean, I remember as I was getting into the hair industry, you opened the door for me. One of the first salons that I was able to work in, and unknowingly or not, you became my mentor in that moment. And just being there and willing to share and willing to just direct me into doors and spaces and routes that I can take, and just helping me to understand that you definitely planted seeds that I felt that I needed to reach, because I could have been in the wrong atmosphere and saw that industry in a different light. But the seeds that you planted gave me an opportunity to truly understand what I should be seeking in that on that path. So I feel that you've definitely opened doors, and that's what I would like to continue to do on this like platform. Just help younger stylists, developing stylists, even stylists that's facing challenges, be able to get some clarity on where they may be lacking a level of understanding from people like you who've been in the game for years. You have a lot of knowledge and understanding that you can share with the audience.
Um, I definitely think that we are lacking mentorship. No one really wants to take the time out to um, teach,
Right.
and nobody wants to take the time out to be a novice either. So I I I would say that and I think it's because of the time that we're in too. People have become so desensitized, and they're not as personable as we used to be, especially coming from the real old school hairstylist.
Yeah.
But I would say that we just need to get back to community. You know,
Hmm.
when I first started, I remember this lady, Miss Gloria. I was working at All Dollar in Deerfield, and Miss Gloria was my first customer, my very first customer.
Hmm.
And she prayed with me. And that paved the way for so much more. My walk in Christ, just my trust, just her covering me, and in that moment at All Dolled Up Salons, that's what we had. We had community, we had family, we had mentorship. Of course, Miss Faye, she was there to mentor us all. I could even remember a time when I had to do my first shortcut. I always like to tell this story. uh, I was so afraid to do it because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to use Marcel's, but Miss Faye, she actually stood beside me and directed me into doing this young lady's hair, because she had a shortcut, and at the time they used to wear the little flips and dips at the top of their hair. And I was like, Miss Bailey, I don't know how to do this. And she was like, well, we have a school next door. You need to go next door and go learn how to curl this lady hair, because she gonna want her hair curled when she get from up under this dryer. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this lady serious? Like, oh my God. My stomach was turning. I had bubble guts. Okay. Y'all know what bubble guts is.
Yeah.
And I just, she took the time to stay right beside me. I don't even think the young lady knew that she was directing me. She was like over there, give it a 45, do a 90. And I knew what Miss Bailey was talking about, but she
Yeah.
didn't. But that was the moment that, even though I was afraid, that was my moment. That was a pivoting moment for me, because all I needed was that push. And she pushed me, and from then it was sky's the limit. I
Yeah.
took off from there.
Hmm.
And I don't mean to toot my own horn, but through prayers, through the mentorship, through all of that, I have to say that my books are constantly full up until now.
Okay. And I think you should toot your own horn because you are a bomb stylist. Okay. And
Thank
you know
you.
that. And so I want you to speak and just help them understand what separates you from everyone else in the industry. You have a specialty, you have a gift in what it is that you do, and help them understand what separates you, because that understanding that separation is what make you who you are. There's something unique about what you do and how you do it.
I would say I mastered the art of short cutting. Um, I think that I love to do shortcuts. So that is something that I focused on is shortcut and healthy hair. I love healthy hair. That is my focus. That is my main point. I can do weaves, but that is my focus and that is what I promote. And also it goes back again to just being a family, being there for your customers and um not just having a business relationship. In some customers, yes, you know you have to do that, but it's just not a business relationship. It's more than that. It's a friendship, it's like a sisterhood. So if you can just get to know your customers and in a more intimate space, it'll take you so much further. If you can just have a little compassion for them, a little care, that would just speak volume to them. And it means so much more than just the hairstyle. So I would say get to know your customers. And when I was in banking, they would say build a rapport. Build a rapport with your customers. Just get to know them. Take the time out. Don't just look at every customer as a dollar. The money will come. Your gifts will make room for you. That is biblical. That is a biblical standpoint. So just have compassion with one another, care, show love, and that will definitely set you apart.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely believe that. And we are in a time where the beauty industry is moving at such a fast pace. Comparison is killing our ability to set ourselves apart and really zone in on our gift. And so just understanding who you are and what's been the purpose that's been planted in you through what you're doing truly will set you apart from the rest. Just being authentic and loving what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're giving your clients. I truly agree with that. So I want to play a little game with you, and I'm going to call out a word, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Um, Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Marcel's.
Marcel's throwback. Hard curls.
Okay, okay. Olive oil.
The kitchen hairstylist. Only because there's so much more new and improved oils. You can
Right,
still
right,
use olive oil. I don't knock it, but you have like Botanica oil. You have so much more Moroccan oil.
I know, right? Pump it up. Pump it up.
Round away, round away hairstyles. 90s.
Okay. I guess that goes along with finger waves. What do you think about when finger waves, when you see finger waves pop up? Finger waves are evolving.
Right. I was gonna say they
Yeah,
getting soft,
they're
so it
on. They
depends.
are you, and you do a great job at the evolution of finger waves.
Thank
That
you.
is, you do a great job at staying aligned. Just up to it with how it's growing and how finger waves have evolved and what it is that you do. Shortcuts. Absolutely, absolutely, and I mean, I've other aside from just your journey, and part of that journey is how you connect with clients. We should not forget about what it is and how it is that we connect with our clients. Customer service is a big part of the industry that we're in today, especially with ambience, us giving them that ambience feel. We also have to be able to communicate with them on a level that makes them feel like they're valued. And part of that is what you mentioned, just connecting with them on a family level. Sometimes you have to connect with them on a spiritual level, depending on the type of relationship that you and that client have. But how do you just develop that consistency in how you the relationship that you build, because you have a, like you mentioned, you have a really consistent clientele, and sometimes stylists don't understand, even older stylists in the game, what it takes to create that and to keep it going so that you can get to a point of where clientele is not something that you're about, that no longer becomes your battle in the process. Now you have a clientele, now you're consistent and your clients are consistently happy. That part of your journey is no longer a battle. How do you maintain that?
Humility
Mm,
and servitude.
yes, yes, yes. Those are important words. Wow. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And what does being humble as a stylist look like?
Being basically nice,
Kind?
which people don't know how to do nowadays. Being kind.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
being kind with your customers and don't get the big head. Don't ever feel as if you're not replaceable. I've seen plenty of hairstylists that I admire um do hair, and listen, their same customers would come and sit in my chair because of the attitude. You don't want to think of yourself so high that you can't be irreplaceable, and you just have to just show compassion. That's mainly what it is, cuz they're coming in with a lot of things on their mind. Like one lady told me, this was one thing that happened last week. I called one of my customers because I haven't seen her in 2 weeks. She have braids, and I just called her because she always like the light of the salon, and she just poured out her heart to me, like that one phone call that I called to say, "Hey girl, I missed you."
Yeah.
She started even crying on the phone, cuz sometimes you just need that after being a you're someone's hairstylist for years. you know
Absolutely.
I would hope that, those hairstylists do have customers that can be yearly customers that come on a consistent base for years. And you just build that connection with them, and that's what they appreciate. And that is far more than a hairstyle. You can have a bad day with a hairstyle and mess their hair up, but because of the bond that you guys created, they will come back. They'll
Yeah.
just be like, "Girl,
Yeah.
you messed me up back here."
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
they coming back, because you do have bad days and you
Absolutely.
do make mistakes.
Hmm.
You try to fix them, but blend it in a little bit. But yeah,
And servitude is important. That's an important word to me. That's a word I like to keep in my mind when I'm connecting with my clients, because it doesn't mean that you're just like, at their beck and call. What it means is that that's just how you're seeing what it is that you're doing. Like, you're serving your clients, you're getting to know who they are individually, and you're trying to meet their specific need in a way that makes them feel, comfortable. They are, at the end of the day, they are there for you. They trust in what you do. And serving looks like, what can I do for you today? How can I make this experience for you better? So I believe wholeheartedly that's definitely a word that I focus on now. Even when I'm having challenging days, you know, how am I going to serve my clients today? And that's an important word to me. So I'm glad you mentioned that word. So people may not be able to process it the way that you do, because you're much further in your journey, and you're also on a spiritual walk that it resonates with you more. But it's an important understanding that we should have in any business that we're serving, that we're offering a service to someone, that we're doing it from a place of serving them. It takes the personal out of what we're doing. But I definitely want, before we wrap it up, I would like for you to take just like the next 15 seconds to leave our audience something to leave our audience with. If we have someone who's listening in, they're young hairstylists, and they want to just understand where to start and what that looks like, leave them just with 15 seconds for them to take away with and encourage them.
Just remember, as a hairstylist, you're not only beautifying the outward appearance, but you're beautifying the inward appearance. So take the time out to know your customers, be kind, be loving, show compassion, and it'll go a far way.
Thank you so much. Look, and I appreciate you coming onto this platform. Just tell the audience where they can stay connected with you after this. Podcast. How can they stay connected with you? Please share with our audience.
You can follow me on Instagram at Shimrock Hair, also on Facebook as Shem Chambers, and I also have TikTok at Shimrock Hair.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your you coming on again. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Uh, that's the end of our segment. Have a good night.